All right, get ready because we're diving headfirst into ICT Resilience Manager interviews.
Yeah, this is a really hot field right
It
now.
is. It's exploding.
Absolutely exploding.
And we want to make sure that you are totally prepped and ready
Yeah.
to snag one of these very in-demand jobs.
It's not just about keeping the lights on anymore, though.
Right.
ICT resilience managers are like the guardians of a company's entire digital world, right?
Ooh, I like that. The Guardians?
Protecting all of their data, all their systems, their reputation.
That's huge.
And the interviewers for these roles, they're really looking for people who can think strategically and see the big picture.
They want the whole package, not just someone who can, do the little technical things. Right?
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
want to see how it all fits together.
Mm.
So to help you really crush it in these interviews, we're going to be pulling some real questions straight from RoleCatcher's guides.
Yes.
Think of this as your sort of crash course in how to not just answer, but really impress.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people like kind of fall into this trap.
Oh, totally.
The first question you're probably going to get is, describe your experience managing ICT resilience.
Oh, yeah, that one's a classic.
It is, and it's so easy to just fall into listing off your duties from past jobs.
Like a robot, right?
Yeah, just reading your resume.
Exactly.
But don't do that. Instead, think about it like you're telling a story.
Okay.
Pick out some moments from your work history that really show you going above and beyond.
So what kind of things are we talking about?
Like, did you ever spot a risk that nobody else even noticed?
Oh.
Did you save the day during a crisis?
Ooh, love that.
Or maybe you came up with a solution that saved the company a ton of money.
Ooh, now you're talking.
Those are the kinds of stories that are going to make you really stand out.
That makes them remember you, right?
Yes.
Not just blend in with everyone else.
Exactly. You don't want to be forgettable.
Okay, so stories are key. What else?
Remember to quantify whenever you can.
Quantify. What do you mean?
Don't just say you improved something.
Okay.
Tell them you reduced downtime by 20%, or you cut the incident response time in half, or you saved the company $50,000.
Oh, so use numbers.
Yes, use numbers.
Numbers are powerful.
They are, because numbers stick in people's minds.
They're concrete.
Exactly.
They really tell the story of the impact you had.
Now, here's something else that I think is really cool.
Okay.
RoleCatcher. They have these AI tools.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about those.
I can really help you here.
Cool.
You can feed them the job description,
Okay.
and they'll analyze it.
Wow.
And help you tailor your answers even more precisely for that specific job.
It's like having a personalized cheat sheet.
Exactly, like a cheat sheet just for you.
Now we're talking.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to another question you're likely to face.
Okay.
What are some of the key components of an effective ICT resilience strategy?
Oh, this one's a big one.
This is where they really want to see if you can think strategically.
Absolutely. This is beyond just the technical stuff.
Right, this is big picture thinking.
You have to show them that you understand risk assessment, that you know how to develop mitigation plans,
Okay.
and how to test those plans regularly.
Right, you can't just set it and forget it. Right?
No, this is an ongoing thing.
Got to stay on top of it.
And really important, you have to show that you can align all of this with the company's overall goals.
Make it work for them, not just be a separate thing.
Exactly. You have to show them that you understand their business.
So how do we make sure our answer really hits the mark here?
Concrete examples again.
Okay, so it's back to stories again.
Yes, but these stories need to show that you're proactive and that you get results.
Give me an example.
Okay, so maybe you convinced management to invest in a brand new security system.
Okay, that's good.
Or maybe you saw a weakness in a plan and you fixed it before anything bad happened.
You were ahead of the game.
Exactly.
I like it.
Those are the kinds of things that will make you stand out.
They want someone who can see around corners, right?
Exactly. Someone who's not just reacting, but anticipating.
Okay, I'm getting the picture.
Good.
Let's move on to another question that's all about staying ahead of the curve. How do you ensure ICT resilience plans are kept up to date and relevant?
This is all about being proactive.
Okay, so we're not just talking about, like, updating a document once a year and calling it a day, right?
No, this is about constantly evolving.
Right, because the threats are evolving.
Exactly.
They're always changing.
So you need to show them that you're on top of the latest trends, that you're aware of the newest vulnerabilities.
So what kind of things should we be mentioning?
Think systems,
Okay.
Have you put in place a process for regular review and updates?
Okay, so there's a system for it.
Yeah, it's not random.
Not just winging it.
How do you personally stay informed about emerging threats?
Oh, good one.
Do you involve people from different departments to make sure the plan actually meets their needs?
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, you want to make sure it's actually useful.
It's got to be practical.
You want to paint a picture of a plan that's living, breathing, constantly evolving.
Not just sitting on a shelf somewhere.
Right, it's a working document.
I like it. It makes sense.
Good.
So it sounds like we need to really highlight those proactive steps we've taken to keep things current, right?
Absolutely, that's key.
Got it.
You want to show them you're not just keeping up, you're ahead of the game.
Okay, I like it.
All right.
And speaking of staying current, the interviewer might ask, what are some of the latest trends and technologies in ICT resilience that you're excited about? This is where you can really let your passion shine through.
Yeah, I love this question.
Me too.
It gives you a chance to talk about what really gets you fired up.
Yeah, but we don't want to just throw out a bunch of buzzwords, right?
No, definitely not.
We need to be genuine.
Pick 2 or 3 trends or technologies that really intrigue you and explain why you're interested in them.
Oh, okay. So what kind of things could we talk about?
Well, are you fascinated by the potential of AI in threat detection?
Oh, that's a hot topic.
It is.
What about the rise of cloud-based security solutions?
That's a big one, too.
Lots to talk about there.
Yeah, there are so many exciting developments happening.
So it's about choosing something you're genuinely interested in and then explaining why. Right.
Exactly.
And bonus points if you can connect those trends back to the company's specific challenges.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
It shows you've done your homework
It does.
and that you're already thinking about how you can contribute.
You're not just talking in generalities.
Right, you're bringing it back to them.
You're showing them how your knowledge can benefit their company.
Okay, I love it.
Good.
It's all about showing them you're not just keeping up, you're actively seeking out new knowledge and applying it.
Absolutely.
All right, let's switch gears a bit and talk about a question that's bound to pop up. What are some of the key challenges you have faced while managing ICT resilience?
Everyone faces challenges.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's inevitable.
So how do we handle this one without sounding like we're complaining or making excuses?
Be honest, but frame it in a way that shows your resilience.
No, okay, so it's about how we overcame those challenges.
Yeah.
What kind of example could we give?
Well, maybe you had to deal with a really limited budget.
Oh, that's a common one.
It is. Or maybe you faced pushback from management when you were trying to implement a new security measure.
Yeah, that can be tough.
Or maybe there was a sudden crisis that really tested your skills.
So we pick a challenge that was difficult, but not a total disaster.
Right, something you were able to overcome.
Okay.
Briefly describe the situation and then focus on what you did to handle it.
So we're turning the challenge into a story of success.
Yes, exactly.
Highlighting our problem-solving skills and our ability to learn from experience.
And don't be afraid to talk about a time when you made a mistake.
Oh, really?
Yes, as long as you can explain what you learned from it and how you prevented it from happening again.
So it's about showing that we're self-aware and that we're committed to growth.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it. It's about turning a potential negative into a positive.
You got it.
Okay, let's tackle another question that can sometimes throw people off. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and best practices in ICT resilience? This is about showing them you're a lifelong learner, right?
Absolutely, it is.
Okay, so what are some good things to mention here?
Well, you could talk about industry conferences you've attended,
Okay.
specific certifications you've earned, things like CISP, CISM, or CEH.
Those are some heavy hitters.
They are. They show you're serious about your profession.
Right, you're not just messing around.
You can also mention online communities you're active in,
Oh.
or even thought leaders you follow.
So it's about showing them we're plugged into the industry.
Yes, that you're constantly learning and growing.
But we don't want to just name drop, right?
No, that's not enough.
We need to explain what we've actually gained from those experiences.
Exactly. Give them specifics.
Okay, like what?
Did a conference introduce you to a new technology that you're now using? Did a certification deepen your understanding of a particular area of security?
So it's about showing them we're not just collecting credentials. We're actually applying what we learn.
Precisely.
I like it.
You want to paint a picture of someone who's passionate about this field.
Right, someone who's always striving to improve.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about conferences, certifications, online communities, thought leaders. What else can we do to really amplify our preparation for these questions?
Well, remember those AI tools from RoleCatcher we talked about earlier?
Oh, yeah, the cheat sheet.
They can really help you here, too.
Cool.
Or not just for tailoring your answers, you can actually use them to practice.
Practice.
Yeah, you can practice answering these tough questions and get instant feedback on your delivery, your tone, and your content.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. It's like having a personal interview coach right there in your pocket.
Available 24/7.
Exactly.
And the best part is, it's all tailored to your specific responses and goals.
It's personalized feedback.
I love it. Okay, let's dive into another question that often comes up. How do you ensure that your ICT resilience program is aligned with the organization's overall business objectives?
This is where you really get to showcase your communication and collaboration skills.
Okay.
You need to show them that you can work effectively with different departments
Okay.
and that you understand their needs and priorities.
Right, because every department has its own thing going on.
Exactly.
So what kind of things could we talk about here?
Well, do you partner with the finance team to make sure the budget for your program aligns with their goals?
There.
How about collaborating with legal to make sure you're compliant with all the regulations?
So it's about showing them you're not working in a silo.
Exactly. You're part of the bigger team.
You're integrated into the organization.
You're a partner,
Okay, I like it.
and you're helping them achieve their business goals.
All right, on to another question that could be a bit tricky. Describe a time you had to lead a team through a major ICT disruption. What was your role, and what were the key lessons learned? This is story time again, right?
It is, but this time the focus is on leadership.
Okay, so we're not just talking about the technical steps we took.
No, this is about how you led your team through a crisis.
So what kind of story should we tell?
Choose an example that shows how you stayed calm under pressure,
Okay.
how you make quick decisions,
Right.
and how you motivated your team.
They want to see that we can handle the heat.
Exactly.
Okay, so we pick a time when things got really crazy.
Yeah, when you were really tested.
And we explain how we led our team through.
And don't worry if things didn't go perfectly.
Oh, really?
It's okay to talk about what went wrong as long as you can explain what you learned from it.
So it's about showing that we can learn from our mistakes.
Exactly. That you're always growing and improving as a leader.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, let's talk about a question that often makes people squirm. What are your salary expectations? This one can be a bit of a minefield, right?
It can be, but it doesn't have to be.
Okay, so how do we navigate this one?
The key is to do your research beforehand.
Research.
Yeah. Use websites like Glassdoor or salary.com to see what other people in similar roles are making.
Oh, okay, so we get a sense of the market rate.
Exactly.
And what?
Well, you also need to factor in your own experience, the specific requirements of this job, and the company's size and industry.
So we're not just throwing out a random number.
No, you want to have a well-informed range in mind.
Okay, I like it.
And when the question comes up, be confident and professional.
So what should we actually say?
You could say something like, based on my experience and the responsibilities of this role, I'm targeting a salary in the range of X to Y.
Okay, so we give them a range, not a specific number.
Right. Unless they press you for a specific number.
And if they do...
Then you can give them the midpoint of your range and be prepared to negotiate.
Got it.
And you know what else can help with this?
What's that?
RoleCatcher's AI tools.
Oh, those are coming in handy again.
They can help you determine your worth.
Wow, that's really cool.
They can analyze salary data for comparable positions.
So it takes the guesswork out of it.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, here's another question that can feel a little tricky. What are your weaknesses? It's tempting to try to dodge this one, right?
It is, but honesty is usually the best policy.
Okay, so what's the best way to answer this one?
Choose a weakness that's relevant to the role, but not a deal breaker.
So not something that's going to make them run for the hills.
Right. For example, you could say, I sometimes get so focused on the technical details that I forget to communicate effectively with non-technical stakeholders.
Okay, so we acknowledge a weakness, but then what?
The key is to immediately follow up with how you're working to improve.
So we turn a potential negative into a positive
Exactly.
by showing that we're self-aware and proactive.
Maybe you've taken a course on communication skills,
Ah.
or you've made a conscious effort to simplify your language when explaining technical concepts.
So we're showing them that we're not just aware of our weaknesses, we're actively trying to overcome them.
Exactly.
Okay, let's flip the script and talk about strengths. What are some great ways to answer, what are your greatest strengths as an ICT Resilience Manager? This is our chance to shine, right?
It is.
So how do we make sure our answer really stands out?
Choose 3 to 5 strengths that are directly relevant to the role.
Okay.
And back them up with concrete examples.
So not just saying, I'm a great communicator,
Yeah.
but giving a specific example of a time when our communication skills really made a difference.
Exactly.
Okay, what else?
Don't be shy about highlighting your technical prowess, but remember those soft skills are essential too.
Soft skills.
Things like communication, teamwork, problem solving, adaptability.
Oh, right. Those are all super important.
They show that you can work effectively with others.
Okay, so we need to give specific examples that showcase these strengths in action.
Did you lead a team through a complex project?
Okay,
Successfully resolved a critical issue?
so we're showing them that we have the skills and experience to make a real impact.
Exactly.
All right, let's shift gears slightly and talk about a question that's all about collaboration. Describe your experience working with different stakeholders to implement ICT resilience initiatives. This one's about showing them that we can work effectively with people from all different departments, right?
It is, each with their own priorities and perspectives.
Right, because not everyone is as passionate about security as we are.
Exactly.
So how do we make our answers stand out here?
Think of a time when you had to negotiate, persuade, or build consensus to get a project off the ground.
Okay, so a time when we had to really work with others to get things done.
Yes, and focus on the strategies you use to bring everyone together.
So what kind of strategies are we talking about?
Did you tailor your communication style to different audiences?
Oh, that's smart.
Did you actively listen to feedback and adjust your approach?
So it's about being flexible and adaptable.
Exactly.
Okay, I like it.
You want to show them that you can navigate complex organizational dynamics.
Right, because it's not always easy to get everyone on the same page.
And that you can build relationships that drive results.
All right, on to another question that tests our leadership skills. What is your leadership style? It's a broad question, but it's a great opportunity to showcase our self-awareness.
It is, and our adaptability.
Okay, so how do we approach this one?
There's no one right answer.
Oh, good.
What's important is that you can articulate your leadership philosophy
Okay.
and back it up with examples.
So what kind of leadership styles are there?
While some leaders are more directive,
Okay.
others are more collaborative.
Right, some are more hands-on, some are more hands-off.
Exactly.
So we need to think about what works best for us.
And how your style aligns with the company's culture.
Oh, that's a good point.
Do your research on the company beforehand
Okay.
to get a sense of their values and work environment.
So we can tailor our answer to what they're looking for.
Exactly. It shows that you've thought carefully about how you would fit into their team.
I like it.
Good.
It shows that we're not just looking for any job. We're looking for the right fit.
Precisely.
All right, let's tackle another question that tests our decision-making skills. Tell me about a time you had to make a difficult decision related to ICT resilience. What were the factors you considered, and what was the outcome? This one's about showing them that we can handle pressure.
It is, and that we can make tough calls.
Okay, so what kind of story should we tell here?
Choose an example that was challenging, but also showcases your ability to make sound decisions under uncertain circumstances.
So a time when we had to make a tough call with limited information.
Maybe you had to weigh competing priorities,
Okay,
manage limited resources,
right.
or make a decision without all the facts.
That's tough.
It is, but it's also a reality of the job.
So we walk them through our decision-making process.
Highlighting the factors you considered,
Okay,
the input you gathered,
right.
and the steps you took to mitigate risks.
So it's not just about the outcome.
No, it's about the process.
Okay, and the outcome doesn't have to be perfect, right?
No, what matters is that you can show that you learned from the experience.
Okay, that makes sense.
Good.
Okay, let's wrap up this section with a question that emphasizes the importance of data-driven decision-making. How do you measure the effectiveness of your ICT resilience program? This one's all about showing them that we're not just flying by the seat of our pants, right?
Exactly. We're using data to make informed decisions.
So how do we answer this one effectively?
Don't just rattle off a list of metrics.
Okay,
Be specific about the key performance indicators, KPIs, you use to track progress.
KPIs, those are the things we're measuring to see how well we're doing.
Exactly.
So what kind of KPIs could we talk about?
Well, do you measure incident response time,
Okay,
data recovery time,
right.
the number of prevented security breaches,
So we're showing them that we have specific ways of tracking our progress.
and that you understand the importance of data in driving continuous improvement?
So we explain how we collect and analyze data, how we communicate findings to stakeholders,
Right.
and how we use insights to make adjustments and enhance our program's effectiveness.
You want to paint a picture of a data-savvy leader who's constantly evaluating and refining their approach.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
And just a reminder, RoleCatcher's AI tools can be a game changer for this type of question, too.
Oh yeah, they can help you practice your answers
Okay.
and get personalized feedback on how to articulate your measurement strategies effectively.
So they're really a secret weapon in the job search arsenal.
Absolutely.
I love it. We've covered a lot of ground in this section, but we're just getting started. We'll be back in a flash with more expert insights and strategies to help you conquer that ICT Resilience Manager interview.
Don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Let's jump right back in.
Yeah, we've covered some really important stuff already.
We have.
About how to showcase your experience, your strategic thinking skills, how to stay ahead of the curve. But what about those kind of curveball questions that interviewers like to throw your way?
Yes. The ones that you're not quite expecting, the ones that really test your ability to think on your feet.
Exactly. Those can be tricky.
They can.
So what kind of curveball questions should we be prepared for?
Well, here's a classic one. Imagine you discover a critical vulnerability that could expose sensitive data. What are your immediate steps?
Ooh, that's a good one.
It is, and this is where you really get to show off your incident response skills.
Okay, so it's not enough to just say, I'd follow the incident response plan. We need to be more specific, right?
Absolutely. You need to walk them through the process step by step.
Okay, so what are the steps?
First, containment.
Okay.
You need to isolate the affected systems to prevent any further damage.
Like quarantine them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Put them in lockdown.
Got it.
Then assessment. You need to figure out what kind of vulnerability you're dealing with and how bad it is.
So understand the nature and scope of the problem.
Exactly.
Okay, what's next?
Next is eradication.
Eradication. Sounds serious.
It is. This is where you remove the threat and any data that's been compromised.
Get rid of the bad stuff.
Exactly.
Okay, and finally.
Recovery.
Good.
Get those systems back online safely and efficiently.
So it's like a four-step dance, right?
It is. Containment, assessment, eradication, recovery.
Got it.
But what if there's no established incident response plan?
Oh, good point.
Or what if the existing plan is outdated?
That happens.
It does.
So what do we do then?
Well, you could mention that you'd prioritize creating or updating the plan, making sure it's based on industry best practices and tailored to the organization's specific needs.
Okay, so we show them that we're proactive
Exactly.
and that we're not afraid to take initiative.
And you could even suggest involving relevant stakeholders in the process.
Well, that's a good idea.
It shows that you understand the importance of collaboration.
And it ensures that the plan actually meets everyone's needs.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to another question that can be a bit tricky. How do you handle pushback from management when requesting resources for ICT resilience? This is a real-world challenge, right?
It is. You're not always going to get everything you ask for.
Especially when it comes to budget.
Right. Security is often seen as a cost rather than an investment.
So how do we change their minds?
You need to frame security as an investment, not a cost.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Connect it to the bigger picture.
Give me an example.
Okay, so instead of just saying, we need a new firewall, explain how that firewall will benefit the company.
Okay.
You could say something like, investing in a new firewall would significantly reduce our risk of a data breach, which could cost the company millions in fines and reputational damage.
Oh, so we're quantifying the potential impact.
Exactly. You're speaking their language.
The language of money.
The language of business impact.
I like it.
And don't forget, data is your friend.
Right. We need to back up our claims with evidence.
Show them the vulnerabilities, the potential consequences, and the return on investment of investing in security.
And this is another area where those AI tools from RoleCatcher can come in handy, right?
Absolutely. They can analyze industry data and provide you with insights to support your case.
So we're armed with data and a compelling argument.
Exactly.
I love it. Okay, here's another question that often comes up. How do you prioritize competing demands for resources within your ICT resilience program? Because let's face it, we can't always do everything at once.
That's right. Resources are always limited.
So how do we decide what to focus on first?
Well, a thorough risk assessment is essential.
Okay, so we start by identifying the risks.
Yes, and then you need to prioritize those risks.
How do we do that?
Figure out which assets and systems are the most critical, which threats are the most likely, and what the potential impact of each threat would be.
So we're creating a framework for evaluating risk and allocating resources accordingly.
Exactly. You could mention using a risk matrix or a similar tool to help you prioritize.
Okay, I like it.
And don't be afraid to acknowledge that you can't do everything at once.
Right, we need to be realistic.
Focus on the most critical areas first.
Okay, that makes sense.
Good.
Now let's talk about a question that's all about building a culture of security. How do you promote awareness and training for ICT resilience across the organization? This is about getting everyone on board, right?
It is. Everyone from the CEO to the newest intern needs to understand the importance of security.
Right, because security is everyone's responsibility.
Exactly.
So how do we make security training engaging and effective for everyone?
Think beyond those boring, mandatory online modules.
Okay, so we need to get creative.
Yes, you could mention using simulations or real-world scenarios to make the training more interactive.
Oh, I like that.
You could tailor the training to different roles and departments.
So make it relevant to what they actually do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And don't forget about ongoing reinforcement.
Okay, like what?
Regular communication, tips, reminders, things like that.
So we're keeping security top of mind.
Exactly.
I love the idea of making security training more fun and engaging.
It should be something that people look forward to, not dread.
Okay, now let's switch gears and talk about a question that often comes up towards the end of the interview. Do you have any questions for us? This is our chance to turn the tables, right?
It is, and it's a great opportunity to show them that you're genuinely interested in the role and the company.
So what are some good questions to ask?
Avoid asking about things you could easily find on the company website or in the job description.
Okay, so we need to ask something more thoughtful.
Yes, focus on questions that show you've done your research and that you're thinking about the bigger picture.
Give me an example.
You could ask about the company's overall approach to ICT resilience, their biggest security priorities for the coming year, or how they're fostering a culture of security awareness.
Okay, those are good ones.
You could even ask about the team you'd be working with, their leadership style, or the opportunities for professional development.
So we're showing them that we're already thinking about ourselves as part of the team.
Exactly.
Okay.
And remember, active listening is key throughout the interview.
Okay, so we need to pay attention.
Yes, if something piques your interest, jot it down and ask about it later,
It shows that we're engaged.
and that you're really listening.
All right, speaking of leaving a lasting impression, let's not forget about the thank you note.
Ah, yes. The thank you note, it's a small gesture, but it can make a big difference.
Okay, so what are your top tips for writing a thank you note that stands out?
Keep it concise and professional,
Okay.
but also personalize it.
How do we do that?
Reiterate your enthusiasm for the role and the company,
Okay.
and mention something specific that you learned during the interview.
Like something that really resonated with us.
Yes, or a connection you made with the interviewer,
So we're showing them that we were paying attention.
and that you're genuinely interested.
I like it.
Good.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this section,
We have.
but we're not done yet. We'll be back in a jiffy with the final stretch of our ICT Resilience Manager interview deep dive.
Stay tuned.
All right, we're back and ready for the final stretch of our ICT Resilience Manager interview prep marathon.
It's been quite a journey.
It has. We've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
We've tackled tough questions. We've explored strategies.
Mm-hmm.
And we've even uncovered some secret weapons.
We have. Those AI tools are really something.
They are. But now I want to shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about how to showcase your own unique value proposition during these interviews.
Ah, yes. That's so important.
Because you're not just trying to get a job, right?
Right.
You're trying to find the right job.
The right fit.
Exactly. A place where you can really shine.
Where your skills and your passions can really flourish.
Exactly. So how do we get that across in an interview?
Authenticity is key.
Okay. Be yourself.
Be yourself, let your enthusiasm show,
Okay.
but be genuine.
Right. Don't try to be someone you're not.
Exactly. Focus on the experiences, the skills, the values that make you uniquely qualified for this role.
So it's about telling your story, but with an emphasis on how it aligns with the company's mission and values.
Yes, and connect the dots for the interviewer.
What do you mean?
If they mention a challenge that the company is facing, tell them how your experience could help them overcome it.
Oh, okay. So tailor it to their needs.
Exactly. And if they talk about something they're excited about, express your interest and explain how your skills could contribute.
I love it. It shows that you're really thinking about them.
It shows that you're not just looking for any job, you're looking for this job.
Exactly. Okay, I'm getting it.
Good.
Now, let's talk about how to prepare for questions about specific technical skills.
Okay, so the nitty-gritty technical stuff.
Yeah, because they're going to want to know what you actually know how to do.
They are. So be prepared to talk about your experience with different security frameworks and standards.
Like what?
Things like ISO 27001 or the NIST cybersecurity framework.
Okay, so we need to know our acronyms.
Yes, and be ready to discuss your knowledge of specific technologies.
Like firewalls, intrusion detection systems, SIEM tools.
Exactly. All the tools of the trade.
So we need to brush up on our technical lingo.
Yes, but it's not just about knowing the terms.
Right.
You need to be able to explain how you've used these technologies in real-world situations.
Okay, so back to story time again.
Yes, but with a technical twist.
Give me an example.
Did you configure a firewall to protect a sensitive network?
Okay, that's good.
Did you analyze SIEM logs to identify a security threat?
So we're showing them that we can walk the walk.
Exactly. Okay, I like it. And here's another tip. When you're talking about technical stuff, remember who you're talking to.
Oh, right. Not everyone is a techie.
Exactly. So if the interviewer isn't super technical, don't get too bogged down in the details.
Keep it simple.
Keep it clear, use analogies, use examples that they can easily understand.
So we're tailoring our communication style to our audience.
Exactly. That's a crucial skill for any ICT Resilience Manager.
Okay, now let's talk about emerging technologies and how they're changing the field.
Ah, yes. This is where things get really interesting.
This is the cutting edge stuff.
It is. So be prepared to talk about things like zero trust architecture, security orchestration, automation and response, SOAR,
Why?
and the growing role of artificial intelligence, AI, in security.
Oh, AI is everywhere these days.
It is. It's changing everything.
So how do we approach these topics in an interview?
Start by showing them that you understand the technology.
Okay.
Explain what it is, how it works, why it's important,
Got it.
and then connect it back to the company and the role.
So how could this technology be used to solve their problems or make their security better?
Exactly. You want to show them that you're not just aware of the trends, you're thinking about how to apply them in a practical way.
I love that. It shows that you're a forward thinker.
And even if you don't have direct experience with a particular technology, you can still impress them by talking about your research, your insights, and your willingness to learn.
So it's about showing them that you're a continuous learner.
Exactly. That's crucial in this field.
Okay, now let's talk about professional certifications.
Ah, yes. Those are important.
They are. They can really set you apart.
They show that you're serious about your career.
So what are some of the top certifications for ICT Resilience Managers?
Well, CISSP, CISMM, and CEH are all highly regarded.
Okay, those are some big names.
They are. They carry a lot of weight.
But what do they actually cover?
CSSP is a broad certification. It covers a wide range of security concepts and best practices.
So it's a good foundation.
It is. CSM focuses more specifically on security management.
Okay.
Things like risk management, governance, incident response.
So it's more specialized.
It is. And then CEH, as the name suggests, is all about ethical hacking.
Oh, wow.
It teaches you how to think like a hacker.
So you can find the weaknesses before the bad guys do.
Exactly. So each certification brings a unique set of skills and knowledge to the table.
Okay, so having one or more of these certifications can really boost our resume.
Absolutely. It shows potential employers that you're committed to your profession.
All right, before we wrap things up, I want to circle back to one of our favorite topics.
Okay.
RoleCatcher's AI tools.
Ah, yes. Our trusty AI sidekick.
Exactly. We've talked about how it can help us tailor our answers, research salaries, and even practice our interview skills. But there's one more feature I want to highlight.
Okay.
Its ability to personalize your preparation for specific job roles.
Oh, yes. That's a game changer.
Tell me more.
Well, you can actually input the job description into the tool.
Okay.
And the AI will analyze it and tell you what skills, experiences, and keywords are most important for that specific job.
So it's like having a customized study guide for each job you apply for.
Exactly. It helps you focus your preparation and make sure you're highlighting the most relevant parts of your experience.
That's incredible.
It is. It's like having a personal career coach right there in your pocket.
Okay, so to sum it all up, whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out in the field, RoleCatcher's AI tools can really help you level up your job search.
Absolutely. They can give you a real edge.
And remember, the more prepared you are, the more confident you'll feel going into that interview.
And that confidence will shine through.
Thinking you a standout candidate.
Exactly.
So to all of you out there getting ready for your ICT Resilience Manager interviews, we're cheering you on.
Go get 'em.
Good luck.